I was like, oh my god, I don't know if he's live or not live. So what was the last thing you said to me though? You said I sent what?
Maybe hopeless. I got really
I
signal.
can't hear a word you're saying, Father Fish.
You cannot hear me.
I can't hear what you're saying.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you. All right, say something.
Let's do.
Let's do what?
Hello, tanks, fishes, broadcast illusions, judge, solution, Frick, Amanda's Aquarium, Mr. Manifest, Representative, Jeff's signal is today. I think it's going to get any better. We probably are going to wind up not being able to do my equipment. The problem is my service provider. And they're not going to be able to do anything about it basically for the next 2 weeks. So, not good.
Yeah, I don't know whether to jump in or not, but I guess I am. I'm just gonna say a few hellos. Hi, Broadcast Illusions, Lee, T-Bone, Roman, scrolling, Karuna Karen, David, Glassbox Fox, Johan's World's Smallest Aquarium. Amanda's here. I'm scrolling. You guys were chatty this morning. Roger is here. Because I try to start from the top if I can, because I lose track. I'm scrolling. And then, wow, you guys talked a lot. Fantastic Fish, TJ. I think I said Roger already, but hello, Mr. Manifesto, Tam, Mikey, One Wanderer, Arcas, Jeff's Tanks, and I think we're down Michelle, Joe Merchant, Steph, and I think we're Tree 77, Fish and Shrimp by Rich, Mr. B, CPDs. Hopefully we get everybody, and we'll try to kind of keep up. I'm not sure how this is going to go at all. Are you hearing me, Father Fish?
Yes, I am. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, right this minute I am hearing you. I think it might be a little delayed, but
I just on StreamYard and nothing else. And that seems to be helping a bit. So we'll just leave it there for now. If that makes a difference.
All right. Good morning, Chevy
so
Fish.
I'm not going to be able to do any wrenches or links.
Yep, that's okay. That's all right. We'll just try to eat our way through this. Yeah.
If we hang in tight, maybe we'll make it. Ah, dear.
Yeah,
well,
James
good morning.
is saying, you tried an Ethernet. Yeah, I don't know if he's, I guess he's off the radio. They're just asking if you tried plugging in directly into the source, but you probably have.
Well,
anyway, that's why we didn't try music this morning. Having enough problems.
Yeah, I could go. I could go on another one. What I might have to do is broadcast home. that signal's pretty good. And I guess to do that, with an acre to be moving things around and setting up my fish room. So it would be kind of interesting, I guess, to see that happening in the background. That means I won't get in.
I think that, you know, I mean, the connection's way better than this one. I mean, this one's just, I don't know, it's just gotten horrible the past couple of weeks. TJ says, call me on the phone and I can put the phone near my speaker.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's true.
Who knows?
World's smallest fish room. Chevy Fish,
right.
James Cindy, TJ, Karuna Karen, Greg the Guppy Guy.
Yes. So I'm just waiting to see if we get any questions coming in.
Hi.
Good morning, Lori. Good morning, Lori. Yeah, maybe, actually, James said maybe it's a bad router. I mean, I suppose it could be a bad router.
The problem is the server, they have a problem with their data.
Good morning.
One of their antennas needs to be replaced, and they can't do it because it's on a tower that has baby eagles in the nest that have not fledged out yet. So they can't climb the tower until the baby eagles, right? The baby eagles leave the nest.
So the eagles fly away. Yeah.
So when the eagles fly, their signal will be returned.
And you'll be moved by then.
Yeah, there we go. Right. Yeah, they're routing everything through my local tower, and so they've just got too much traffic, and we're experiencing the results of excessive traffic. It's just breaking up the stream too much.
It sure is.
Amanda suggests turning the picture quality down.
You see what Amanda said?
Yeah.
Did you see what Amanda wrote? Said I used to live stream back in the day when it would get like this. I would turn the picture quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It right now.
Huh. Oh, Tam, that's good. That's good. You've made it at least through the night. I mean, I hope they hatch for you. Yeah.
See if that's better.
So I had a hair algae problem.
How are you?
Good.
Well, the picture's better. I can tell you that. The picture's better.
It's a really.
It's not as fuzzy as it was.
Huh. I've turned it all the way down to the lowest quality.
Yeah, your voice is way better.
Isn't that interesting? So I'm putting more signal into audio, less in the video, and it's cleared up both. Isn't that interesting?
Yeah, there's a little bit of a lag. I can see the lag, but your voice and the picture's better. There's a little lag.
All right, we'll live with it. Thank you, Amanda. Yeah.
Well, yeah. Thank you. I mean, we'll just try not. I'll try not to talk over you. It's hard.
Well, it's impossible, really.
When we're not in sync. Yeah. So. Okay, so here's a question.
Fellows, I have.
One wanderer wants to know. Sorry. One wanderer wants to know if they can use the Miracle Grow planting soil in the aquarium.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was, yeah. Yeah, I was say that was yes. Okay. And what is Johan's? Oh boy. Okay, so back on the algae problem. Joe Merchant says I had hair algae problem in a small tank. I didn't set up properly. Did a blackout and cleaned up the water. Now there's a recurring clear goop on my plants. I can't seem to get rid of it. Any ideas? So basically, you killed the algae and it's now on the plants. Is that you think what's going on, Father Fish?
A
Is she collecting
blackout
on the plants?
cleaned a water
No,
tank.
he had a hair algae problem. He blacked out the tank, and now he's got clear goo. I feel like that's dead.
Well, what you have, Joe, is you've got excessive nutrients. You have excess nutrients in the water column.
Yeah.
So the way to clear that up, there are 2 or 3 things you can do about that. Make sure you siphon out all the detritus. Get all the waste out of there. Do
Yeah.
don't do it all. Do 15% at a time. My hunch is you're substantially overfeeding. So if you will reduce your feeding to a 1/10 of what you're feeding now, or better yet, nothing at all for at least a month, all of that should clear up. It's excess nutrients. You got to get rid of the excess nutrients. More than likely, it's food, unless your sand cap is not deep enough to control the nutrients coming out of the substrate. That needs to be an absolute minimum of 2 inches. Normally, you do not need more than 2 inches. 2 inches is sufficient and adequate. But you've got to do that. You got to clean up the excess. You got to get the nutrient level down in the water by changing the water and control feeding. Feeding is the #1 culprit for every single problem that occurs in a tank. It is always too much food that causes the problem. There is virtually nothing else that will cause a problem in a fish tank except excess feeding. Hair algae problem means not enough of the right kinds of plants and too much nutrients. I got sand in my food. How did I do that?
David Fellow says I have a 99.9% iron oxide powder. How much of that do I use? As it's a different way to the way you show on your videos.
Well, you don't. I mean, if it's not already in your substrate, you're not going to be able to put it in unless you drain the tank and somehow get it in there and cap it. If you're using it,
right?
But if you're using it to set up the substrate, use it sparingly. It's very strong stuff. You don't need a huge amount of it. About a tablespoon per 10 gallons or less. A teaspoon per 10 gallons. A teaspoon per 10 gallons in the substrate. Don't just dump it in the water. If you do, you're going to end up with algae like you will, and probably worse. About a teaspoon per 10 gallons substrate mix before you cap it.
Father Fish.
Yeah, we're dropping out again.
Now that you've redone your resolution, I was like, now that you fixed that, maybe you should drop off and come back, and maybe you'll get a cleaner signal. Hopefully, he'll be back. I mean, hopefully you're hearing what he's saying. It is broken up on my end, and honestly, I don't know when to jump in because I feel like no matter when I say anything, I'm talking over him. I can't get the timing right. So sorry, guys. If this can't get any better, I hope he does maybe try streaming from the house in the mornings. But I realize it's hard because it's during the time that the store opens. So it's crazy. Um, so yeah, I see what you wrote in there, Joe.
Let's see if that's better.
Well, it's better right at the moment. Um, that it doesn't appear as though you're overfeeding, and it could just be all that dead matter. So yeah, he says he's feeding like one worm a week. But
Uh,
yeah, just try to get it cleaned up, I guess. Reset.
world's smallest fish room.
Yeah, Johans had a question.
Go ahead.
Well, you saw it, Father Fish. I noticed that sometimes the water in my tanks are so crystal clear, but I haven't done anything to it at all. It's like 4 days since I did a water change. Any ideas why so clear? I mean, that's a great thing. I'm thinking, why are we questioning to get a clear tank?
Um, yeah, I would give thanks to the powers that be.
Right.
Try to figure out what you did right. That's a very difficult task. Near
Exactly.
impossible. It's a lot easier to figure out what you did wrong than what you did right.
Yeah.
But whatever it is, keep doing it.
Yeah, just yeah, keep repeating that. Good morning, Papa Shrimp, and I see Jenny's come in. Andy, Red Eye Aquatics. Saw somebody else. Oh, Big Tank Hank's here. Hi, Hank. Um, there's
One
probably
wanderer,
more.
one wanderer. Yes, you can use Miracle Grow planting soil. That's fine.
Absolutely. Um, yeah, dang it, my water's clear. That's right. Don't question it. It's clear. Go with it. He wanted to know why. Well,
Yeah, let me just say something about this whole business of fertilizer in the potting soil.
yeah, I think that's the question. Yeah.
Yeah, somebody somewhere somehow took the notion that you should never use potting soil that has fertilizer in it.
Yeah.
What you should do instead is you should use potting soil that does not have fertilizer, and then add fertilizer to it. Really, that it makes not one iota of sense. Um, I have used both. It's not a problem. Here's the key. This is what you must understand. The purpose of the sand is not just to keep the dirt from floating around. That's one of its purposes, but it's not the only or even the main one. The main one, if you will, is to keep the nutrition that is in that soil in the soil and not in the water. So the sand cap, by being sand and being 2 inches deep, precludes the soil, the nutrition, the water from flowing rapidly enough to raise that nutrition up out of the dirt, through the sand, and into the water column. That happens, but it happens so slowly because it's sand and not gravel. If it were gravel, it would flow at about the same speed as water coming out of a hose. It would go whoosh, and you'd get all the nutrition in the water column. Because it's sand, and the finer the sand, the better. The water flows very slowly down into that. It may take a month for the water to flow through that sand. I don't know how long it takes. I know it's very slow. slow enough that as it returns, because there is a current going through there, as it returns, the bulk of those nutrients are taken up by the bacteria and the microfauna, the living animals that are in the sand, as well as the roots of the plants. So all of that life in the sand is taking up the nutrition as it works its way up through the sand toward the water column. A little of it does get into the water column. If you have plants that take their nutrition from the water column, like anubias, Java fern, and the like, then they will absorb that. They will be able to handle that, and you won't get an algae growth. So try to understand what's happening, and it'll help you to understand the importance of the sand cap.
Mm-hmm. And Chevy Fish just put in here probably the most important thing to avoid is the perlite, because that actually floats. Get a soil
Yeah,
that doesn't have sunlight. Yeah. But it's
yeah,
not the fertilizer.
perlite is styrofoam.
Right. And that just floats.
It is styrofoam. That they call it perlite. It's a fancy name for styrofoam. Styrofoam is for that
Right.
matter, a
So
styrofoam.
that's what you want to avoid. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's going to work its way.
It will. It'll work its way out of the dirt and up through your hand eventually.
I don't know anything beyond it. Not styrofoam, but it's a natural type. Here, hold on a minute.
Richard is here. He's a gardener. He's correcting me. He said perlite is not styrofoam. It's a natural. It's a natural product.
But it does float.
But it floats. It holds air.
It does.
Yeah, well, there's a floating rock too.
True, there's a floating rock.
I can't think of the word.
See if you can find it.
Difference between perlite and styrofoam.
And then,
Now, with the perlite thing, I don't worry about it because that sand cap is going to keep it from working its way up through the sand.
so
It's
you don't
not
worry
gonna-
about that either? Okay.
I really don't.
Just the initial read says, unlike styrofoam, perlite beads decompose naturally over time. As a result, they do not pose any threat to the environment. If you put styrofoam in your garden, it will not decompose for millions of years. That's the initial read. So
what he's saying is that perlite is a natural product that will break down and dissolve.
So Fintax,
Styrofoam will not. So styrofoam is not. I mean,
okay.
perlite is not styrofoam.
I didn't mean to
So
hijack.
I'm happy you did.
I got to get to work. Okay?
Thank you. Good to see you, Richard.
Okay, because I would say
Thank you.
Fantastic Fish just put in vermiculite. What's the difference between perlite and vermiculite?
Beats me all hell.
Okay, me either. But I mean, I guess if you use it, it starts floating. Grab a net, take it out. You know.
Well, here again, sand. The sand prevents larger
But I mean,
pieces of
any little
material,
yeah.
larger material like vermiculite, from working its way up,
Right.
into the water column. Same thing with Osmocote. Osmocote is lighter than sand.
Yeah.
It doesn't float, but it's lighter than the substrate that it's in. So if you put Osmocote in, just push it down into dirt, it's going to rise to the top, and you'll see it. You'll see it rolling around. It sinks, but it's lighter than the dirt. So it'll be rolling around on the top of the dirt. So again, sand on that keeps it down and keeps it from getting up into the water column. The whole idea is that you don't want anything in that water column there naturally. And by naturally, that means that it's working its way up through that sand cap by virtue of the activity of the organic matter in the sand. Organic matter being bacteria, microscopic animals, algae, plant roots, all of which are consuming or otherwise using that nutrition as it works its way up or as they work their way down, and it eventually works its way up into the water column. So you do get some nutrition coming into the water column, but it's very controlled, it's very minimal, and it is easily consumed by plants that take their nutrition out of the water column. So it allows you to have plants like Anubias and Java fern, uh, Bucephalandra, all of the other plants that take their nutrition from the water column in your deep substrate, deep sand cap tank. It will provide for them. Keep in mind, folks, keep in mind something very important. For all of the poo-pooing that goes on, and there's plenty of it, more than enough to go around, the poo-pooing of the deep sand bed. And I love it when I see some guy with 50,000 subscribers say, "Oh, I put sand in there, and it just filled up half the tank and didn't work anyway." Well, I listened to that, and I know two things. I know, one, he didn't do it because 3 inches does not fill or even half fill a 10-gallon tank. So that's nonsense. And two, if he did it, it would work because it works. It works 100% of the time. It never fails because nature never fails unless you make it fail. And you can make it fail. You can deliberately screw it up, but that doesn't prove it doesn't work. All that proves is you can deliberately screw it up. So if you don't screw it up, 100% guaranteed, absolutely. I need to do. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to put some kind of reward up for somebody screwing it up and proving to me that it doesn't work because
No, we don't want to do that. I'm just amazed at all the comments going through on vermiculite and perlite, and and everybody's agreeing that they're all minerals, and everybody's got some other little twist to it, but basically, yeah, they're all minerals. So, it's just funny. This is just scrolling. I'm like, wow. So
that's fun.
And Newcastle says, if I used Father Fish's dirty tank method, would it still require the sand vacuum now and again, or do the plants take all the waste? And they're new. So
okay, that's fair.
New in the chat. Just to
right.
be fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see when you're talking about sand vacuum, you're not talking about pumping it and going down in there and trying to get everything out.
Right. I think they're just talking about, do they still need to vacuum their tank after they do a sand cap?
If you get a mulm buildup,
Good morning, millions and stuff.
on the sand, you start getting detritus. You start getting mulm. Mulm is a very specific thing. Mulm is not leaves and food that are laying on the bottom. That's not what mulm is. Mulm is processed material. It's broken down. And it's broken down very, very fine, such that when you move anything, it goes whoosh. It makes a cloud in the water. Okay. If that's what you have, don't take it out.
Right.
Apply the cowbell. Add
an inch of sand.
Gators, you heard the bell.
Let Gator do it. Just let Gator tell him. Yeah.
Gator, you got Gator got it.
That's right.
What's happening is
Mold machines.
you've got more of a decreased bioload working as than you have. So you need to add another. Don't put an inch in. You don't need that much. Another half inch will work. It'll disappear in a day. It'll work its way down in there. The sand is full. Literally, it's full. It's filled up. It's like a bag that's full. You need to add another half inch so it can get down in there. If it doesn't, add another half inch. Keep adding sand until you get rid of it. It works its way through. In other words, it doesn't just stay there and sit there forever. It works its way through. Now, it does it very, very slowly, but it gets broken down even more and it gets consumed. It works its way through. So add a little more sand, another half inch of sand, and that mold will disappear. It'll go right down into the sand. And you'll reach a point where it just won't reoccur because it is working its way through. Pissed. Well, world's smallest.
Well,
Yeah, a little, maybe. More, yeah, I get maybe a little. More bemused. More bemused than I'm really not angry, and I'm really not even upset.
he comes across as being angry. I get it. He gets to a level where, yes, he appears to be angry sometimes.
I call it wrathy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I get wrathy. I get aggravated. I don't think determined, because what I'm hearing is people saying, "Oh, Father Fish, you're such a fool. You really don't know what you're talking about. This really doesn't work." And I don't like to call names because I don't like to throw that back on the person who made the accusation. I want them to live with it. Okay, just live with your accusation. You will eventually eat it whole, and I hope you choke on it.
Hey, you're getting a few. Some people say you're passionate. Some people say it's a rant.
It's a rant.
Funny. All right. Have you? No pun intended. Have we covered that?
I covered it.
Have we covered that?
Really.
Okay.
You know, there's still something I want to say about it.
Okay. If you must.
Is this signal better, by the way?
It's better. It's not perfect, but I think it's better. See what everybody else says. But yeah, I think overall it is better.
Is it better to the point where it's manageable?
See what they say, because I have no idea. But like I said, your picture is clearer because you're always a little almost out of focus, a little granular sort of, and this appears to be a little bit better, I think. But now you're frozen. Here we go.
Yeah, now it's breaking up on me.
Right, just as he says, is this better? Nope, now you're frozen. Everybody's saying yes, overall it's better. And it's manageable. Okay.
Okay, well, that's good.
We're 75% okay, says TJ. So we're kind of there. I honestly not sure when to talk, but other than that, maybe I shouldn't talk. It's good.
Well, let's move on. Have you got a question?
Well, yeah, I do. I gotta scroll back. So, fantastic fish and friends. Father Fish, I have green hair algae. Should I try to remove it, control it, or encourage it? I have plecos, ottos, Siamese algae eaters, shrimp, and snails, swordtails, and cloudies that pick at it.
Oh dear. The tail end of that broke up, but I think I got the gist of it.
They basically have a bunch of fish in there. They have plecos and ottos, Siamese algae eaters, shrimp, snails, swordtails, platies, and they all pick at this algae. So they're just not sure. Do I leave it, remove it, try to control it?
Well, you know, algae is a plant. It depends how you feel about it. If you don't like it and don't want it, pull it out. If it's getting out of control, grab hands full of it and pull it out. The solution for it is to add more plants, more higher order plants. The higher order plants do a better job of taking nutrition out of the water than algae. So if you've got algae, it's because you've got way too much nutrition in the water, and or you don't have enough higher order plants. Your tank should be 70% high order plants. 70%. If you better than half of the tank should be plants by volume, if you will. That's the Dutch for it.
Well, good morning, Word Dunlap, Thomas. And he's gone. Sunset Jen. I've seen a few people come in.
And I'm back.
He'll be back. He's coming back. And welcome, Newcastle. And we can't pass out any wrenches today because he just doesn't have that capability. But welcome, and if he's coming back, we'll eventually get you a wrench. He's having a lot of problems.
I am. And it ain't my fault. That ain't my fault. As Lee would say, not
everybody
my fault.
says.
Not my fault.
Everybody always says it's not their fault.
I know, but it's true.
It's not my fault.
I got to tell the boys tomorrow to open up that I won't be in till 10:30, and I will just broadcast from home this
week. That would
week.
be a lot better.
I'll just start doing it now, and you'll see the bed being broken down. You'll see tanks coming in.
Cool.
You'll see the fish room being built step by step. It'll be fun, or not.
Well, you know what? Like I said to you, everybody's always interested in everything, so they wouldn't mind watching you build your fish room.
I know.
You know.
I need to take a 2-minute break. Do you want to carry on? And then I'll give you a break.
I'll carry on with something.
I'll be right back.
Like I said, it was so bad for me. It's like I didn't know when to jump in to even add to or ask another question. It's like, oh no, I don't know what to do. And you guys are so great because you managed to stick with all this no matter what. Wendy says, added an inch of sand and gravel, waiting for more sand. Feeding twice a week sparingly. My Comet has a red sore on its side. And whitefish is always at the top. Please advise. Well, the red sore, I would say, to me, would be based around bacteria. But if you've added sand and you really cut your food, Father Fish might suggest pulling that fish out and putting something on topically, like some Neosporin, and maybe just doing another water change and keep that food down because it's bacterial, I would assume, the problem that you have with that. So just be really careful about the food for a little bit. And then if you have to, take the fish out and put it in clean water and do what I just said. Put the Neosporin on, keep it in a separate tank of clean water, and get that tank reset and put it back in. That would also work. That might be the easier thing for you to do. That way, don't feed it. Keep it in the clean water. Keep it aerated. Treat it topically. Get your tank in order, and then put it back in. That would probably be the best way to do it. Oh, thanks, Fantastic Fish. I don't know what I'm really talking about. I'm just hanging out here with you great people. Um, so you're going to change your username. That's okay, Newcastle. Even if you get a wrench and you change your username, the wrench will stick with you. So if that, whatever way you go with it, once we're finally able to give you a wrench, you'll still have it.
I could do it, but I'm probably lose signal. Let me
Well, that's
try.
up to you. That's up to you what you do. Oh, is there any way to get our own very own Father Fish coffee mug? Absolutely, there's a way, and he's going to tell you how to do it. And he's ordering some this week, right? So you'll have more.
Yeah, I've got them coming. I have coffee mugs ordered.
Okay, cool.
If you will go to PayPal, deposit $25, leave your name and address, and ask for a mug, I will ship you a mug. If you are out of the country, in Canada, Europe, India, Venezuela, Brazil, South Africa, China, Russia, add another $10 US, so it'd be 35 just to cover shipping. Shipping runs about $10, and the mugs are 20, so you get a break. I'm really eating the cost of it, but I'm not doing mugs to make money. I'm doing mugs so we can all have Father Fish coffee in the morning.
You're doing mugs to get your face out there, right?
You bet.
So yeah. So anyway, yes, he's got more coming in PayPal.
Yeah.
And you'll good.
$25. Okay,
yeah.
who needed a wrench?
Newcastle.
Oh dear. All right.
So says she's going to change her name. She's gonna change her name. But I said the wrench will stay with you.
No, I'm happy to hear it. We don't need more of this. Do we,
Right.
Amanda? Okay. Newcastle is now blue.
Okay, you managed to do it without dropping off. Was there anybody else in here that came in that needed a wrench? I'm just going to scroll back a little bit. I don't know. I mean, I could see Newcastle very clearly. Oh, and you just got a super chat, Father Fish, from Andy.
Wonderful.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you, Andy, very much.
I'm just scrolling back to see if I see
Andy is from, where's Andy from? Andy is from Ireland, I think.
Ireland, okay. I'm just looking. I think that was the only one I saw that didn't have a wrench.
Looks like as far back as I can go.
I think that's it for now. Okay. So yes, thank you, David Phillips.
All right. I guess I'll stay up on this for a little while.
Okay. It seems to be working at the moment. Welcome, Newcastle. You're now officially part of the show. You were anyway, but now you're blue. Isle of Wight, bottom of UK.
Where is that? Oh, okay. Right.
Yeah.
All these cool places. If England ever opens up again and stops being a communist country that's locked up, along with 90% of the rest of the world, I'm going to go visit England. That's my bucket trip, to go to England.
Mm-hmm. So
Red Eye Aquatics. We got
Fantastic Fish says it's a
whatever you said, say it again.
Fantastic Fish says not trying. It's a new tank. I have hard water, high pH. What high order plants do you recommend? Aquarium cup. Welcome
Hey,
to Snook.
Cup.
And high aquarium cup.
Okay.
So what high order plants do you recommend for a hard water, high pH?
Anacharis, Kabamba, Ludwigia, Vallisneria, Sagittarius, if you can get it, swords. Virtually any plant you find in your plant store. And if you want to send me $50, you can do it by PayPal. I will send you a bag full of plants. It'll be $20+ with shipping, and they'll all be high order plants, and it'll be a nice, a nice variety. So for $25 plus shipping, I will ship you a bag of plants. There'll be growing plants, plants with roots, plants that are healthy, plants that you'll be able to put directly in your tank. And we'll do well because they're doing well in my tanks.
Okay. Hi, Rohan. Hi, Craig. And I have a question. Where to go? Oh, well, TJ just has a statement. It says, Father Fish, it's been over 6 weeks since I added sand, and I still don't need anywhere near a water change. Awesome. So it's working. Hi, bows and barrels. And, oh, yeah. That's it. Bows and barrels. Are there any non-aquatic plants for your tank? Now, I'm not sure if they're asking that you can put in the tank or...
Well, you know, you can do pathos. You can do other air plants like spider plants. What you have to do is you have to recognize that, well, the roots will take nutrition out of the water column. Leaves will not live in the water.
Right. So
you need to drape the plant over the water so that the roots can go down into the water and take out the nutrition, and the leaves grow and growth. I mean, you get tremendous growth doing that. And it is a way to keep the water really very, very clear of traits or the other nutrition that's getting into the water column. Extremely well, but keep in mind water.
I think you just broke up completely.
Yeah, I'm going to block the YouTube and just go back up here. So just, you know, make sure the leaves are not in the water, just the stem and the root.
Fantastic Fish wants to know, are you limiting the number of plant packages that can be purchased? Are you putting any limits on what they can purchase?
I cannot do more than 4 in a single shipment. 4 packages in one shipment for the same shipping cost. So 4 packages, that's $100 plus $25 for shipping.
Okay.
And you'll get a bonus with that too. I always do bonuses.
Okay. So, and then I guess if you needed more than that, you'd have to do double order.
You can do that one of 2 ways. You can one of 3 ways, really. You can do it with PayPal. You can go on Father Fish Aquariums. Father Fish Aquariums. You can order, or you can go on Get Gills and order on Get Gills. Anything will do. The simplest and cleanest way is to, if you know exactly what you want, it's just PayPal, because it'll always PayPal anyway. Well, Get Gills doesn't, but the others do. My channel does. Website.
Sunset Jen has a question. Father Fish, and the breeding question. I have 3 females, an 18-month-old boisterous girl separated from males since a few months of age. I'm hoping to breed them with a small male. Any advice, please?
I kind of broke up, but
So basically,
okay,
she's
I got it.
yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay.
Well, you've already done what you do. You're already there. You've got fish. You've got virgin females that are full grown. Uh, pick the male that you want carefully, and then when after a month or so, when you know they're pregnant, you can take them out, leave them in there, and then do the same thing with the next generation. Pull out whatever number of things you want to work with and grow them out, and then breed them. And you might at that point want to breed them to a brother son. You can breed a son back to a mother. You can in order to be able to start narrowing that genetic pool to get it more deliberately focused. You can do that for 5 generations. After 5 generations, you probably are going to want to introduce something from outside. You'll start getting morphs that you don't want. Jay, good morning. You feeling better? Wonderful, good. I want to do 2 things today. I want to get the atrium cleaned out. We need to use the shovel it out. Get it clean.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Mr. B.
Going
I
back
see
in
what you
there.
said about the hang on
And
back.
the 3-tier tank, the end cap tank, whatever. Want to empty that. So you need to get the plants and the fish out of it. Put them in the long tanks right there for now, and we're going to empty that. That'll be probably tomorrow. But I'd like to get those 2 jobs done today. Thank you. All right.
So what happened? So what happened, Papa Shrimp? You were trying to go to somebody else, and you ended up on mine. Sorry.
Oh, Mr. B's CPD.
Yeah, I just
says
saw that.
I like that. Yeah,
That's
he's
what
growing
I just
plants.
Yeah.
Growing plants.
Yeah.
Really, that's nice. That's really effective to do it. One of the things that happens with like pathos, particularly, is they'll take over and literally fill the tank. So
Yeah. Thank you, Lori. Yeah. Yeah, I see a lot of people do that with the pothos. That seems to be a very popular plant to use for that.
Yeah, it looks great.
I see people that do that, and they trail. I mean, they trail it across their room, and they do all sorts of things with it, and to decorate with it. But it's
Crazy.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's all good ideas. Everybody has good ideas, and they're willing to share them.
With how high a temperature can cold water fish handle? It depends on the cold water. This came up the other day, I think. Depends what you're talking about. If you're talking, for example, about North American mountain minnows, sticklebacks, they come out of anywhere from the Carolinas north. 75 degrees You want to get it at 75 or below. Anything above that, they'll stress. And anything above 80, they will not make it beyond a few days. So I would say 75 for cold water fish.
Yeah. Um, Fantastic Fish says, Father Fish, will you be able to reproduce your tanks at home, or are you having to start from new? Are you starting new tanks, or are you going to be moving existing tanks over from the store?
Yeah, I'm going to try to move existing tanks. I have 6 29-gallon tanks that are 2 foot wide. My plan is to put 2 of them on a 55 stand, which is a 4-foot stand. So I'll be able to do those 6. And then I'll probably do one more 55-gallon. I do have these tanks up in the front of the store. I have to make a decision about what I might do is set them outside. They'll be fine here. I've got natives in them for the most part anyway, so they should do fine that way. And then I'm going to have tubs, the big tubs outside, and probably some small tubs as well. If this all works out and I'm able to stay where I am, then the next phase in the process will be to make put up a greenhouse, which will involve putting down pavers and erecting a greenhouse on the pavers. I don't know if I'll get to that because I don't know if things are going to work out where I am. If they do, that's the plan. If not, I have a friend who wants to move with me. It's another old fart like me, and we'll find a place that'll be nice that we'll both like a lot, move into, and I'll have more freedom there.
Mm-hmm.
So, but for now, I'm taking some tanks over that are already established tanks.
Newcastle, have a nice day, and thank you for coming in and joining.
Yes, indeed. Good to have you with us, Newcastle.
So did you want to talk a little more about that? Or, Nicholas has an issue if you're...
Yeah, go ahead with Nicholas.
Okay. Noticing white fungus developing on my African frog, thinking of using methylene blue in a quarantine tank, not sure what to do.
On the African frog?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a really serious problem. The problem is he has a bacterial infection. And the problem is that bacterial infection very quickly eats through the skin of the frog, and it will kill it. If he's got fungus, that bacterial infection is advanced. Treat it immediately. Take it out of the tank. Treat it immediately with an antibacterial topically. Put it right on the wound and put it in clean, clear water. My experience is when they reach that point, you're going to lose them. It's too far gone already. But if you're able to save it, it'll be by getting them out of that tank, getting them in clean, clear water, no food at all of any kind until it is completely healed. Treat the wound, kill the bacteria, give it a chance to heal. Try to find an antibacterial at a pet shop. Barring that, you can use mercurochrome or thiolate. You can even use, some of the like Neosporin. It's not going to hold real well, but you can use any kind of antibacterial. What is Thomas walking in here with?
That is a fillet of Spanish
look at
mackerel.
that.
Skin
Oh,
on.
isn't that
I'm
gorgeous?
not worried about your male antlers.
Thank
But I mean, that's the way antlers are. The females are typically a lot larger than the males.
Yeah, it's a dread condition for a frog. Hold on a minute. Thomas, I want to get the atrium cleaned out. I've already got Chase.
Yep, I saw that.
The 5-tier, 4-tier. That's sold. Guy's going to pick it up tomorrow.
The one with
We
the
need-
water in it, or the
Yeah, the one
okay.
with water in. So we need to get rid of that. And then the next step will be
Yeah.
to empty this whole thing. Yeah, which means
That's too
moving
bad,
over-
Nick. Like he said, get right on it.
39 or the other, some
Hopefully,
other
So we're going to be starting with the acrylic stuff, and then
with that.
yes,
Yeah,
put all the acrylic fish into a glass
into
tank.
other tanks
Yeah.
for now.
Well,
yeah.
keep put them in glass tanks because we're going to be starting with that whole section, right?
Yeah, we'll get rid of this and then we'll go to that.
Okay, cool.
It's all going to go pretty quickly, I think.
I think so too. Lots of catching.
We're obviously getting there.
Yes, we are.
How are you feeling? Yeah, look,
The antibiotics are worse than anything else.
that was a
Really
hook. He got a treble hook in that last
Ooh.
Friday.
Yeah,
that's
wish
not good.
I would have. The
Right in the bar. Really?
It cut around a 10. I mean, I've done it a bunch. I'm like, can't do that.
Pull it out.
No, learn my lesson.
Yeah, the bar. That would be. You can do it with a razor.
Well, that's I had to make an incision back, and then
Yeah.
I noticed there was something on the barb, and I was like,
Oh no, yeah, the
something is
tendon.
something I don't want to lose.
Oh God,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Good thing you didn't cut that.
The tetanus shot was the worst part. My arm was dead the whole day.
Really?
It
From a
was just like-
tetanus?
Yeah.
No kidding.
Well, I guess the lidocaine.
I do think you do tetanus. Yes.
Where do you want this big log?
Leave them in there for now. I will sell them. I've had a couple of people in.
Sold a bunch on Thursday.
Oh yeah. We've sold a lot on Friday. I've sold a lot over the weekend.
I believe it.
I did over the weekend.
Good job.
So-
Nice.
So we're getting. It's kind of one bite at a time. These tubs that are out here, they're for the office.
All right.
When the girls come in, they're going to pack up the office and do stuff. The kids are out back. Take that hammer that's sitting on the big tub and try to break them loose
All right.
without busting them up, so we can use those. We're going to need everything we got for sand. We got the
barrels. This is probably about 73-ish. It's just room temperature.
Can we pile this stuff in the compost? Because we're gonna have to take that anyway.
That's what I
the compost is going to have to be broken down.
That's what I mean. So
If I'm growing babies, I keep them closer to 80. If I'm
And
growing
we'll just get, if we have to go to Lowe's and buy buckets, we'll do it.
that's fine.
We need just buckets are easier to work with. Don't put it in buckets that don't have handles or that are broken,
Alright.
because we maybe what we do, take a room
I will
and pick up
Sprayer
20
and pop when I get a minute.
The worst
I
idea.
saw it. I'm waiting.
I'll give you. You want to do that? I'll give you the key in the money.
Yeah, tell me to.
All right, keys in the car.
How many you want? Like 10?
I'm waiting for my
Get
change.
20. It'll be. I think they're $2 a piece. Use what you can.
Where the big trash?
Here, we may be out. Get a big box of big trash.
So,
Bags and
as Aquarium Cop says, and he obviously has experience with these
Yeah.
frogs.
Okay. Work
He
on
says
another.
a lot of times the frog is shedding and
Thanks,
mistaken
John.
as fungus. And I don't have experience with them, so I guess you want to determine that. I was just reading Aquarium Cop put in a statement that says, Father Fish, a lot of times the frog is shedding and mistaken as fungus. And I'm no expert on it.
Good
But I
shed,
assume
that's
Aquarium-
true.
I assume Aquarium Cop is. So,
You're right, they do shed.
so
If you can't tell the difference between shedding
Right.
and fungus, shedding is very thin. Fungus is thick. Fungus grows like grass. It's thick. The shed is paper thin.
but they would want to determine. So maybe take a magnifying glass and really look at your frog and make sure it's not shedding versus a fungus.
Well, if it's shedding, it'll peel off. If it's fungus, it won't as easily. You'll be able to see raw spots under it. I mean, you should be able to tell the difference between a wound and healthy skin. That's really what you're looking for. If there's fungus, there's a wound. There's damage to the skin. So look for damage to the skin. If there is none, there's just like a slime that's peeling off that shed. That's normal. That's fine. Sorry, I didn't think of that. Thank you, Aquarium Cop.
Yes.
Excuse me a moment.
Okay. Silver lethal to some aquatic species like copper. I know it dechlorinates like mad. Silver chloride and drops out of solution. Well, we're going to wait for Father Fish for that one. We're done that because I don't want to chime in on them. So I was just reading your question. We'll try to come back to that. I would say so. You're right, James. More like a sunburn feeling. That would be what I would think it would look like. But yeah.
I appreciate it.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Answer your question, bows and barrels about the. Okay, so you got to get off the table. You are behind the table.
There's one more reason I'm glad I'm out of this. Somebody lost a bird.
Somebody lost
2 years ago. 2 years ago. 2 years ago. With papers appropriate ownership. Took the bird, resold it. They're coming in the door now saying, "Where's my bird?"
Yeah.
Nice not to have to deal with that kind of stuff anymore.
Right. That's what I'm saying. You won't miss it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I'm never sure. Okay, Word Dunlap has a question. Is silver lethal to aquatic species like copper? I know it dechlorinates like mad, forms silver chloride, and drops out of solution. And that is at 10:03. If you want to see it. Word Dunlap.
Silver nitrate is toxic. A silver coin in a tank, it would develop corrosion. It would not release enough to cause. I would not say so. I mean, you dump a jar of nitrate in there, it does things too. What's the other one?
Well, I just have a completely different question.
What's the purple dye? God, I can't think.
You're talking about methylene blue, or you're talking about
Blue, green, yellow, purple.
Yeah, I can't think of it. It's
It'll come to me.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, it's a dye. Yeah, it's a dye that's used as a preservative to so can't think what it's called.
He's
thought of it in a year or two.
Sorry, yeah, you're completely breaking up on my end. I don't know. They're hearing something different than I am. I mean, sometimes we hear one word and then we don't hear anything for a while. So I don't know how much they're getting out of this.
No, not gentian violet. Not Grecian violet. I don't know.
Yeah,
it'll come to me.
It'll come to us just randomly. Yeah. Jean wants to know if you were going to do a final walking the door to the shop video.
Yeah, I was thinking. I think I'll do a partial today,
Okay.
just to walk through to show you where we're at, what the status is. I'll get that up today. I'll do it right away. I think we're gonna end this debacle.
Yeah.
We're
Um.
we struggled for an hour.
Yep. I mean, you got to live stream from home because we can't do this every day.
Yeah, I know.
Can't.
We'll be here. I'm gonna be home, and the guys know they're gonna be alone till whenever I get through. No, not malachite green.
I'm not agreeing. I can't think of the name. It's like the discus people use it, and
It's real common.
you know, they use it at Jack Watley Discus, tons of it, and I just can't think of the name.
And it's purple.
Oh yeah, it's purple.
That's
Oh,
funny.
it is definitely purple. What is the
Okay,
name?
that's so cool.
It'll come to me in about an hour.
Exactly.
It'll just
Funny.
fly into my head, you know.
Right. I know.
All
right.
It starts with a P. Palm something. I
It
can't
does
think of
start with a P.
It starts
right.
with a P. And it's not.
I got it. I got
You
it.
got it. Okay. All I could think was pomade. I'm like, it's not that.
Potassium permanganate.
That's it. See, I had pomade in my head instead of permanganate. Yep, that was it. That's it.
Potassium permanganate, right.
And I can see it in the tank. It's a beautiful purple. It's just, oh, yeah, amazing.
Yeah, and it's toxic, which is
Oh, I was just going to
remarkable.
say poisonous as can be, but it's beautiful. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Potassium. Yep, that's it. Good morning, Eric.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
Anyway, all right, guys. Yeah, it is poisonous.
Oh, yeah.
You can overdo it.
Yeah.
But it's used as a precipitative. It attaches to particulate matter. If you've got a real cloudy tank, murky, you put a few drops, and within hours, it's all clear. It just it drops. You can get into the substrate.
Yeah.
Kind of amazing stuff.
James is agreeing with me. I was like, yeah, Jack Watley Discus uses tons of it. Yep.
All right, guys, we're going to give it up here. We'll be back in the morning.
Hopefully
9
tomorrow's
o'clock.
better.
Tomorrow will be better, but it'll be different. So we'll see how
Always
it goes.
different, but hopefully the audio will be better because, whew.
Yeah, it's been a
It's a
chore.
struggle today.
Thank you all. Thank you all so much.
Yes,
Good to
thank
be
you.
with
Everyone.
you. I'm
Thank
not
you.
even going to try to do music.
Yeah, thank you, Chevy Fish and Lori, for all the hellos and links. And thank you so
Bye,
much.
everybody. Hey,
Yes.
Fish and Laurie, thank you. And Laurie, make sure you send me your address to my email, so I want to send some Valentine's presents to you and Judy. So I'll get that off. Hopefully, you'll get all that off today. Bye for now. See you all.